Okay, well, we haven't gotten around to shooting any video this week yet. We've been busy installing new digital readouts onto the milling machine. We had a little foobar with our Shumatech DRO, and we've decided it was time to upgrade. So we've had to add a couple more scales and a couple of glass scales, and I actually had to shorten up one of the scales, which was a adventure in itself. And I did shoot a little video of that, so we'll throw that out here in the next few days and kind of go over this new digital readout a little bit. So if that interests you, stay tuned for it. But I just happened to be sitting here today, and I wasn't going to do one of these. And today's one of those days when it's a half day. Everything I look here is worth no more than half. And I've glanced through this stuff, and there's some real winners here today on stuff. Like I say, it's a half day. So Atlas Milling Machines is where we're going to start, just because I've got that open. And somebody has listed a horizontal milling machine, used, 2,400 bucks. Buy it now. Or it does have make offer. Well, make offer would be less than half out of this $2,400. Let's read the description. For sale, a nice Atlas horizontal milling machine. Comes with a drawbar, original vise. Has auto feed on the x-axis. The motor is currently off it, but the motor is currently off of it, but runs on single phase 115 volt. Needs a new belt. Willing to ship. Just ask for a quote. Well, there's only a couple of pictures here. Don't show us a whole lot. We'll just look at big pictures here, and you can extrapolate off of this, or if you want to look at this fine piece of crap, you can go back and look at it yourself. This motor is huge, and I looked at this about 3 times. I have no idea what this was originally fitted with. They put an Atlas pulley on it. Maybe it will bolt to that milling machine, but I kind of doubt it. And when we look at the second picture, we can look at the motor mount that sits back here in this corner, and it's pretty clear that there's not been a motor mounted on here, or this motor has not been mounted on here. There's no markings or indications on that, where you'd see dirt built up or grime or something. And the rest of this machine is so grimy and rusty that you would see some indication if this motor had been mounted. Later model, got the later model guards on it, and like I say, there's only the 2 pictures. The handles are all there intact. It does have a factory milling machine vise, which is worth 250 bucks. That's, I think, the best part of this machine, myself looking at it. Overarm bar here is rusted to crap, and I mean rusted to crap. There's no support on the end of it. Now supposedly it's got a drawbar, although you don't see it, and we do see a vise handle here. There's a driver for the arbor, but from the looks of the rest of this, it may be rusted on there. Who knows? There's that. There's no lock for the overarm cover, which isn't there anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. There's a standard bolt here, or nut on the top of this stud. It doesn't have the original handle there. And you can't really tell from the pictures. Like I say, you can go back and look at it a little bit closer. This is the later model shift lever, high-low shift lever on there. These had a plunger on them. Maybe the knob's on there. If it is, it's a painted black or something. This is a fine piece of stuff, worth half. It's worth 1,000 bucks. 1,000, maybe 1,100 bucks. See here, you can look at this motor mount back here. Doesn't look like there's any markings where a motor's been mounted on there for quite some time. So I speculate they came up with this someplace. They came up with the motor someplace else, probably shoved a pulley on there that they had on there, wired it to where it looks like it belongs on there, although that looks like the switch box is there, so I kind of doubt that these actually even go together. It's a big ball door motor of some sort. No way is it something that, to me anyway, in my mind, is going to fit on that motor mount. So motor's just an add-on you can put on something else because it doesn't fit. So, take it for what it's worth. $1,000 machine. Anyway, let's move on. Move on. Atlas horizontal milling machine, MF28 gear guard side cover with MF29A cover. It's the outer cover here. It's this cover here. There's no internals. I'm not going to go inside and look at it. They want $179.99 or best offer and free shipping. No, it's no internals in it or anything. It's worth 75 bucks. No more. Atlas cross slide table, 7x7 swivel milling machine drill press table. Pre-owned, $279.99 or best offer and 25 shipping. Um, these guys normally list these in pretty good condition at 250. They try and list them for more than that, but this one's another fine piece of crap. I won't spend a whole lot of time. He does go in there and say that, it doesn't look like one of these handles might not be original. Yeah, let's read the description. Read what it says before we like this piece of junk. Atlas Craftsman 7x7 swivel milling machine drill press table. Used condition with ding, dents, and scratches. Moves smoothly, some backlash. One turn handle is broken. The other, I believe, is not original to the table, but works well. See photos for details. That piece of crap. This handle is not even close to being original. This is a piece of junk, something somebody's added the whole back end onto. I suppose we can just look at the big pictures without wasting too much time. That's not original. None of this on this end is original to the machine. You got rust. There's no drill marks in it or anything. I will give it that. Been around, been used and abused. This handle's busted off. This would have been an original balanced handle, and I believe this is a proper knob or the dial and everything that goes with it. This is not even close. In this condition, standard drill press table in this condition, 150 bucks maybe on a good day. I personally, if I was looking for one, I wouldn't get more than 100 bucks for one of these. This is no cherry. These are okay on a drill press, but they don't have really any other application. Oh. This top portion of the table is fixtured. This is the same. This part here is what they sold as a drill table attachment for on the lathes, because it will fit in place of your compound on top of the lathe saddle. Okay, there we go, 125 bucks. There's a few other ones here. They're milling machines. Here's a hand wheel, $18.99. This is from one of our used sellers. $18.99 and $6.85 shipping. What a piece of crap. Big pictures only. Not the proper handle. It's all screwed up. This is all pitted out. If you look at these pictures close, you can see how freckled it is from all the plating chipping off of there. I think it says something about the bore is mushroomed slightly, but I gotta read it. Let's look at the rest of the pictures. This is a piece of shit. A good one of these should only be worth 30 bucks, and they want 19 for this piece of junk. Gotta read the description. There's some of these that you really gotta read the descriptions on them. Bore is mushroomed a little. A chamfer or deburring tool will fix this. No problem. Just fix it right up. It was only driven by a little old lady on Sunday that did have a little fender bender with it, but it's easy. Okay. Atlas horizontal milling machine table part number M1-4, $199. This is from one of our sellers that's selling shit. Atlas horizontal milling machine table comes with a picture. No damage, but needs to be cleaned up. What a grimy up piece of crap. This is worth 100 bucks. Now it's got a stop here, but that's not an Atlas stop. That's somebody's something or other. I've never seen one of those like that. I suppose you could use it as a stop for an end stop or to do position on the end of a cut, but why would you have that rather than a kick out like is properly there? This is a rusted up piece of crap. Or it probably isn't rusted. Probably would clean up okay, but it's worth 100 bucks. That's all it's worth. 100 bucks. I suppose we could look at the rest of the pictures real quickly while we're here. No sense in it, but we might as well. Yeah, it's got a little dink there. Top of the table's not in bad condition, other than that one little dink there is what I see. Um, grungy, grimy. Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of rust here. That will clean up, but that's kind of ugly. It's worth $100. Okay. We've talked about these MS support bars, the Atlas horizontal milling machine support bar that comes out the end. Inch and a half diameter, 16 inches long. Somebody wants $89.99. Well, I know who wants it. They want $89.99 for it. For best offer and free shipping. Same seller as the last one. 16 inches long, inch and a half diameter. Minor damage to one end. Please see photos. For 90 bucks. No. No, no, no. I'd replace this with a piece of cold roll steel more than anything else. Look at that. Oh, big pictures. Look at this rusted up. And this isn't just rusty. This is pitted. This is a piece of crap. This is worth scrap price. That's all this is worth. This has no good application on your machine. There's one end all rusted to crap. Somebody's beat on it because it was stuck in the locks were seized on it, you know, so to get it to release from the two split cotters that hold it in place while they've whacked on the end of it with a hammer. Mushroomed it down. Piece of junk. It's worth 10 bucks. That's what I'd pay for a piece of inch and a half that long that looked like that out of my metal supplier when I was digging through a scrap pile. Milling machine belt guard M1-401A. This is the second generation. This is the A model. I don't see a tremendous amount of these. I'm not going to go in and look at it. It's in good condition. They want $199.99. Nope, used is worth 100 bucks. It's worth half. Half. And then we're back into stuff that I've already ranted and raved about that we've looked at on milling machines. Bunch of crap is what this is. Okay, let's go back to a shaper. Now here's some real winners here. Vintage Atlas 7, these are new listings. Vintage Atlas 7B metal shaper feed ratchet gear cover case S7-23D housing S7-150. Now this is not, to me, I didn't check these numbers, but to me this indicates the housing. All this is the inner direction pawl, one piece of it, or two pieces of it, I guess. There's plunger and spring, maybe, I don't know, that goes inside the feed ratchet. These parts don't really wear, you know, if you're missing the feed ratchet gear cover at this point in time, these are not the parts you need. These are the parts that are left over after the cover is broken. They want $59.99 for this piece of crap. This is worth 10 bucks. That's all it is. And we'll be building some of these because we've got some stuff coming up. And he gives a description of it. This is one of the sellers we see an awful lot of. And it's kind of a generic description that he gives. Good working condition, has scratches, signs of use, dings, and service marks. Please view all the pictures to see what is included in condition of items. Yeah, this is crap. Well, look at the big pictures really quickly. This is one of the inside pawls. You see this outside post is what sticks out at you when you're looking at the feed cover going on there. This will be the lower toggle, I believe. And this is a spring-loaded plunger that goes in here. Very quickly, we'll look at the pictures. These are worth 10 bucks. That's all these are worth is 10 bucks. They want more than that for this, why, or if you pay more than that for this, why you're being cheated. Okay. Figure out who these sellers are and know which ones to avoid. And this is another one. Here's the other part of that pawl. They want another 60 bucks for it. You know, this is all junk. Junk. It won't be long I'll have these in the store. And, you know, as usual on stuff like this, I'll show you how we build them. Show you how I would build them here. 10 bucks. Got the handle that goes on top of it. They want 60 bucks for it. Not even worth looking at. Here is, down below, is a 10-12 inch lathe or 7B shaper countershaft motor mount, part number S7-108A. $75 for best offer and $17.85 shipping. I think these motor mounts are only worth about 50 bucks myself. But it's excellent condition. Excellent. How can you pass up a deal like that on something that's in excellent condition? Now, the thing that I do find interesting, the S7 number will normally indicate the shaper. That normally indicates it's the S7 or the shaper motor mount. They may have used these on the lathes, but I do not believe so. I believe you will find a different number for the lathes. So, and I didn't go and look at the book. I thought about checking the parts book on these, but I don't really see any sense in it. If you're that interested in it, you can go and look. But I believe this is for, I know it's for the shaper, but I do not believe it's the same as goes on the lathe, although there may have been some crossover depending on what motor was mounted on them, or they do cross use a lot of these parts, but I don't believe this is one of them. So 50 bucks, and yeah, maybe 20 bucks shipping. 17.85 is probably not out of line. And I'm not going to go in and look at these. These are all from this same seller, and he's parting out a shaper, obviously. I don't know if this is the same guy that's got the motor mount. Yeah, this is different from the motor mount, but this is one of our sellers that will normally rip you off. And I'm not going to go in and look at these. Atlas 7B metal shaper, tool post mount bracket, S7 8A X screw brass nut, S36. This is a used piece of crap nut. Don't put this shit on your machines. Here he's got the clapper box assembly with it, 144. No, this assembly right here is worth 75 bucks on a good day. When you go in and look at this, you'll find he's robbed the gib and all the gib screws and stuff out of the other side. I believe in a listing later on down here, he's got the 4 gib screws listed for and nuts for $24.99, and the same thing with the gib is $24.99. He's got a bunch of parts here that, yeah, $24.99 for the gib that goes with it, and $24.99 for the screws and nuts. And then we're almost back into other stuff. There's one more item here. Now, this is worth looking at. When I first saw this, I thought this is not a bad deal. This is a S7 101 Atlas 7B shaper belt guard, pre-owned, $245 and $15 shipping. Now, this is the larger guard that goes on the shaper, and this is one I reproduce in aluminum. And I would normally say this is a very good deal. He only wants $15 shipping. $15 shipping is not enough to ship it. That will not fit in a medium flat rate box. You have to go to either a large flat rate box that may fit in, although I think these have to ship in a custom box or a larger box. So it's normally about, probably 35 or 40 bucks to ship these. So shipping is a good deal. And this is from a seller that I've seen his name a little bit, got a few feedbacks, not a tremendous amount, but there's problems here. So, and when I first looked at it, I thought, yep, this is a good buy. S7 101 Atlas 7B shaper belt guard. Previous owner cut clearance on backside to fit the motor he was using. It is cast in aluminum. I hear that some older ones were cast iron. Other than that, it is in good shape. Several things wrong with this. One is the clearance hole cut in the backside. So, and let's just look at the big pictures. We can see everything we need there. This is not a bad looking guard. I mean, it's scraped and dinged up and stuff, but that's not unusual. I mean, you're going to see that in a used guard. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You look at the second picture, this is all cut out. He's cut this all out, which in my mind makes this guard worth 100 bucks. It's all I mean, you've got something. Yes, it will work. The whole bottom's cut away. Why would you want to, if you're trying to restore a machine, trying to improve a machine, why would you put a piece of crap like this on there? So, nope, it's worth 100 bucks and 30 bucks shipping. So 40 bucks shipping. So 140, 150 bucks, because you don't want this on there. You mess with this very much, pretty soon this part's going to break out, whether it cracks out under use, whether it breaks, whether you bump against it or something. You don't want this piece of shit on your machine. So there's what it goes with. Now, the thing that I find interesting or disturbing is that he says this one's cast in aluminum. The only ones I have ever seen, and Atlas did some stuff along the way. They may have switched foundries for part of the runs of these. They may have done something. I have never seen one of these guards cast in aluminum other than my reproductions. They must obviously be out there, and this is not one of mine. I can tell from looking at it that this is not one of my castings. But so someplace along the line, Atlas probably did cast at least one of these in aluminum, but I've never seen one. So that, in one sense, makes it unique. But from a functionality standpoint, which is what you should be looking for on these machines, this is kind of junk. This is kind of worthless here. There's one thing I want to go back and look at very quickly, and we'll zoom in on it here to see if we can see anything. Is right there, and right here there should be a steel drive rivet in this area right here, and there is a rivet there. Let's go back to the big pictures and see if we so right here there is a rivet of some sort, which is probably the correct steel drive rivet. It's not necessarily positioned where I think it should be positioned. It should be down just a little bit more, I believe, right in that area there. So interesting piece. Do you want to buy it for 250 bucks? No. Do you want to buy it for 150 bucks? Not really. So anyway, there we're back into stuff we've already looked at. So as I said before, everything that I've seen here at the most is worth half of what they're asking for it. Now I didn't go in and look at this one. We can right now. Atlas Craftsman, we're into lathe stuff. Atlas Craftsman lathe countershaft motor mount pulley assembly, TH42 pre-owned, $150 buy it now, $97.89 shipping. Nope. These countershaft assemblies, 75 to 100 bucks. 100 bucks is, probably the most that these are worth. I guess we could read the description very quickly and see what they say. And that's all it says. Nothing, no revelations there. So, I mean, it's a good countershaft assembly, probably. I don't see anything really wrong with it right off the top of my head, but it's not worth 250 bucks. It should, shipping at 100 bucks is way high. That should be at the most, 40, 50 bucks. 50 bucks is going to be the most it's worth for shipping. And it's worth 100 and a quarter, no more than that. So worth half. Well, see, I said half, so he's got 150 bucks on it, so it should only be worth 75. I'm going to say it's worth 100, but the shipping should only be 50. And there's some other stuff here I'm not going to stop and take a look at. Atlas Craftsman 618 lathe steady rest, unused in box, new open box, 249 bucks and 1543 shipping. Looks to be new. I looked at this a little bit ago. It's a seller that I don't recognize. Looks to be new. It's kind of intriguing that the hold down clamp is so ragged looking compared to the rest of that this hold down clamp here is so ragged compared to looking at the rest of the steady rest. And he shows the box on down here. It looks to be complete. Got new fingers on it. Probably has not been used. That doesn't make it worth 250 bucks. That still makes it worth 125 bucks. Half. Half. Yeah, bunch of parts that they've, tore down off of a machine. Now here's one from a seller that we've seen quite a bit of, and I find an interesting listing after this one. Atlas Craftsman metal lathe countershaft 4-step pulley 3/4 inch bore. This is going to be the proper pulley. The first thing this is from a seller that sells a bunch of stuff, sometimes good, sometimes bad. When we zoom in on this a little bit, you look at that top, it's wavy as can be. You look at, let's just look at the big pictures here and see. All along here looks to be awful wavy, which means this has dropped and been dinked. See what other indications we have here. When I looked at this earlier, I had the very distinct impression that this pulley had been abused somewhat more than it probably should have been. Drug over the burr on the shaft, didn't want to come off of there. You can see that big drag mark there. Big dink here on the edge. Big dink here on the edge. They probably had some sort of a puller on here trying to get this off, and they've they've abused this pulley somewhat. This has been beat to crap. I would speculate, looking at these Zamac pulleys, it's going to do a hula dance when you spin it around on a machine. And why are we scraped all the way out here like this? That's kind of, those are not normal. Those are not normal scrape marks. This whole side has been beat to crap, and they've tried to straighten it, and it's starting to flex there. I don't know. I didn't read the description on this. What does the description say? If we're honest about this, or if we're going to try and pass it off as just having a little bit of whoopties to it. The largest step has some dings on the outside, but seems to be okay where the pulley sits. No, this is a piece of shit. If you're going to invest your money, it's worth 30 bucks at the most. And it's going to be worth 30 bucks if you're under the realization that it is going to do a hula dance when you try and run it. I'm going to come back to that one. Do we have anything else? No, on downward into stuff that I've already seen, I think. Let's go back to one more, and this is an interesting part. It's listed as an Atlas Craftsman 10-12-inch metal lathe apron compound cross slide 10D-9 housing. And the 10D number, I want $79.95 and $26 shipping. I say that a apron and a cross slide are only going to be worth 50 bucks at the outside anyway, you know, no matter what they are, what condition. But I find these, and this is from a seller that I recognize the name, doesn't have very many feedbacks, and he gives no other indication about this part. I didn't look at the number, although I may go back and spend a little time later on my own just looking at it for my own interest, and I would suggest that you do the same if you're interested in this. This is a one-piece cross slide and apron, and all of the ones that I'm familiar with, the apron is a separate piece from the compound. My speculation is this is an early model that maybe they used on some of the early 10Ds. I would speculate that this is a crossover when they started making the 10 inches. Probably came from the 9 inches originally, or it evolved into the 10-inch from a design they used on the 9-inch. Would be my guess. I don't know that for certain, but that's what I would speculate. And this is a piece of crap anyway. I mean, this is going to be well used, abused, and wore out. So I don't really know why you would want it anyway. But yeah, this is not something that I recognize as a mainstream 10-inch lathe part. I do believe it is for an Atlas 10. I don't believe it's for a 12. But 10D-9. So that may very well, like I say, be either an evolution from the 9-inch, or it may be from a 9-inch and they were actually already using those numbers. Maybe, I don't know. But it's not going to fit most of the 10 inches that we want, and it's going to be wore out. So there again, bottom line, is it worth $79.95? Now it's worth 50 bucks. So I guess that is a little more than half, but nonetheless. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. Hopefully you found that a little bit useful, informative, maybe. Comment suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below, guys. Have a good week, and thanks for taking the time to watch.